Actually, I was in the middle of an emergency because I would be expecting some questions about the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies and the legal status. And there is something very, very interesting that I can share with you and your viewers right now.
Okay.
Because I was right in the middle of such emergency. It was like police involved in this kind of stuff.
Oh, wow.
But if you guys just know that Bitcoin cannot be subject to a theft in many countries, because since recently it wasn't recognized as something which is object. Subject to a theft can be money, which is something which is considered to be equal to an object, right? And then even e-money is equal to an object, but it's legal tender, right? It's Bitcoin is not. So if somebody steals your Bitcoin and your Bitcoin, like he doesn't steal your ledger, if he steals your ledger, it's a theft.
Because it's a physical object.
Yeah, physical object, yeah, containing Bitcoins. And then you can prove that this ledger has so many Bitcoins and is worth this. But if it's just the Bitcoin, somehow it cannot be subject to theft.
Wow, dude, that's crazy. That's insane. I didn't know that. So that's why that's why all these scammers are stealing Bitcoin, and we're wondering why do they take Bitcoin? Because they can find them. They don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's not theft.
Yes.
Insane. Wow.
Absolutely.
That is insane. I didn't expect that, man. I really didn't expect that. So there you go. It was worth the wait,
actually,
man. It was worth the wait.
Do you know what's interesting? That Russia recently enacted. They're like on the first reading, but the law passed on the first reading. And what they were explaining is that they will be, recognizing Bitcoin for civil law and tax purposes.
Okay.
And what they were saying is, in this way, people will get more protection of their rights because Bitcoin will be recognized as a property.
Right.
So it will be like a property after the law is passed. But before that, it's not a property recognized by the country, so it can't be stolen.
Does that mean it can also not be taxed?
No, not really. It's kind of a dual approach. It is for tax purposes. It's recognized as taxable asset. It's recognized like financial asset.
So,
but it's not a property.
So will the thieves have to pay tax?
Yes.
I'm paying tax for Bitcoin I stole. Really?
Well, it's a gain, isn't it?
That's insane, dude. It's crazy. All right, let's see if we have any questions for you. I know Alex has some questions. Alex, if you can send me any questions you have that have to do with law or legal, please send it to my WhatsApp starting right now. Just any questions you may have from the audience that we've been waiting. All right, so I'm going to start asking you questions, okay?
Okay.
So, Michael John Scott's asking this: is it possible in the UK to register an offshore company to trade under as a self-employed crypto trader to reduce the amount of tax due on an increased crypto investment?
All right. So I'm not UK qualified lawyer, although I graduated from King's College. Mm-hmm. In this regard, even because I have some experience with registering offshore companies for trading of Bitcoin, exactly. And to be honest, even offshore, the companies have some licensing regime there. So they have licensing requirements applying to them. Regarding tax, it is case-by-case basis. It probably can be possible, but it's really subject to a greater analysis, guys. I can answer like not that specific questions, because if I answer it wouldn't be serious, because it's obviously subject to analysis of the regulation of the applicable law to the specific country that you're targeting.
Right, right, okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna be answer the questions, and you can even explain that whenever you why you can't answer certain questions. It's fine. I'm just gonna ask the questions as we go. Um,
Sure.
can lawyers use their company? Okay, Charlton Online is asking, can lawyers use their company bank account to buy and stake coins such as Hex and Ethereum?
Bank accounts.
Yes, can lawyers use their company bank account to buy and stake coins such as Hex and Ethereum? I think
All
that
right. So it is clear that Ethereum is obviously on the blockchain, and the banks are still not linked to the blockchain. But basically, what he's probably asking is because sometimes lawyers use their bank accounts on behalf of projects and people to make purchases that they can't because they don't have access. Because when you say on the the payslip, if you say purchase of Bitcoin, they block your account. Your account or just the transaction. It depends on the bank, but usually what people use is lawyers' accounts, so they can have access to the banking system because their companies, like crypto companies, don't have access to bank accounts. So they're using it as a lawyer, as an intermediary, to
wow,
make
okay,
payments to the parties.
awesome.
But something else, Paul, worth noting here. Recently, I even made video on this. The International Monetary Fund is urging the central banks to get connected to the blockchain, the central banks of the states to be connected to the blockchain so that the cryptocurrencies can be more interoperable, and they can, imagine stable coins being directly linked to cryptocurrencies, and for cryptocurrencies to have direct access to the whole financial and payment system, like through the central
Right,
banks. We don't have intermediaries. We don't need to worry about bank accounts and all this kind of stuff.
awesome.
It's something that is probably laying in the future, but the International Monetary Fund is very, very important organization, which is dictating world policies in terms of financial stability.
Nice.
So we should be watching out for that.
All right. Michael John Scott asks, is it possible in the UK to register an offshore company to trade under a self-employed crypto trader to reduce the amount of tax due on increased crypto investment? Thank you. Okay, I
I
think
think
I already answered. I
that the
already
first,
asked that. I was about to
yeah.
say he was really persistent about not paying taxes.
No, yeah, of course, and also, people in UK are worried that that they might lose access to many things since they are outside of the
Yeah,
EU. So what I'd say is probably for them to get legal advice on where they can actually outsource their activities and for the best taxable regime.
nice. All right, Ziggly Wiggly is asking, is there any taxes on crypto? I think I already answered
Yes,
that, but yeah,
it depends. It depends on the country, though.
yeah.
It depends on the country. It depends on the crypto. For example, I know that in Switzerland, if you have held crypto for more than 1 or 2 years, it's not a taxable income for you.
Nice.
In the US, the IRS recently updated their questionnaires and their declarations. So on the top of the declarations, they're asking about if you have any crypto, if you have touched crypto, which is amazing, and it's a good thing and it's not good thing in the same time, because we
Yeah.
are getting closer and closer to centralization. But the thing is, there also the long-term held crypto is taxable under a different regime. So this question has a lot of aspects, but yeah, you guys should make your research on the states that are more crypto friendly in terms of taxation.
And also, I think there's a lot of countries that are gray area. Like Europe is a gray area right now. They don't even know about crypto, even if you want to pay taxes on it. At least in like certain countries in Europe.
Well, in my experience, the tax authorities here are very active. Maybe for 3 months already.
In
They're
Bulgaria, you
kind
mean,
of
or in Europe?
yes, in Bulgaria as well. In Bulgaria as well,
Nice.
they are targeting people with crypto because they know there is a lot of gains in there. But Paul, it's really good for people to declare their taxable income, especially in crypto, because at certain point, we can make as much gains as we wish on the crypto platforms. But at the end of the day, we are doing this to have, to have resources to live well, resources for the real life. We are not living just for these platforms. So at certain point, we will want to make bigger purchase with this crypto, even if you pay directly with crypto.
I agree with you.
And then this guy that you are buying, let's say, car or a house from, they're going to, to go to the tax authority and say, oh, this guy bought from me, so I have some income from him, which is huge. And then the tax authority will say, wow, you haven't declared your crypto, you haven't declared your income, and then you have a huge problem. You can even go to jail for that. So better off.
How usually you declare your crypto, you pay your taxes when you put it into a bank, correct?
Yes, but also you can declare the crypto depending if you are a natural person or legal entity. If you are a legal entity, you can declare your crypto even before that as a financial asset with certain value at certain point. If you're trading with crypto, in general, for natural person, yes, you're declaring what are your gains in crypto. But they're starting to recognize that you have crypto on the platforms, and it has certain value, and it can be just sitting there also. So they're checking all your wallets. So
yeah, it's hard. All right.
Yeah, and it's trackable. It's trackable. It's totally trackable.
Of course. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Let's see what else we have. I have 10x my investment in crypto in 4 months. How can I minimize capital gains tax in the US?
In the US, wow.
Yeah,
probably should ask about that. Yeah, a lawyer. I don't know what's the system in the US in general in terms of taxation. If they would be taxing, if they recognized expenses or losses as well. Like if you so in sometimes when you're trading, if you put your gains into a position, let's say conditional limited position on margin trading, so they are not they're not considered to be gains until they are out of this position, and whether you gained or you lost, you still don't know, uncertainty. It might be a loophole that some people might be using, but it's definitely subject to an advice from a local lawyer, because somewhere they may recognize that, and in other countries they may not.
Gotcha.
Also, it's interesting what they're taxing. Is it the Bitcoin or is it the gains in USDT? It's also something different, because if they're taxing just the USDT or USDC or USD, it is a different story, because if you are in the Bitcoin, then you are not taxable yet until you get out in stablecoin, right?
Right.
So really depends on the state where you are and local laws.
Got you. All right. Sasha Mesenberg is asking, but I think we must pay tax only if we sell our cryptocurrency or send it to a bank account. Or question? I think you just answered that.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. It's the same answer. For natural persons, it's easier in general. It's not just taxes, Paul. It's not just taxes. You have to have proof for source of income. This is very important. It's not just for taxation purposes. Even if you go to an exchange to cash out, they are conducting KYC on you and anti-money laundering checks. And then you have to prove, where do you have this income from? How did you 10x your crypto, right? You have to have clear background of your crypto. Otherwise, you may be in trouble with not just the tax authorities. There is the police and special police forces dedicated just to that. Economic police and this kind of stuff.
All right. What can the lawyer tell me more about XRP? Would the lawyer invest in XRP? Does he like it? Do you like XRP? Would you invest in it? There's always one XRP guy somewhere.
Guys, yeah. Okay. On a personal note, I don't like XRP, especially after reading their case.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they were treating token holders, because basically they were playing all behind the curtains. They were playing with the big players, had many over-the-counter sales, which were harming the persons on the market. And also, the XRP case was very, very strong case. It still is. It still is a very, very strong case, because the behavior of the team behind XRP was exactly as if they are dealing with a security. They're using this token to fund the project, and not just at the beginning, because what is fair? Make an ICO or IEO or DEX offering, but then leave the token to the market, leave it to decentralize, leave it to the community for them as a reward in general to develop the project. But holding the token, the huge part of the supply, and then dealing with it, speculating with it, pumping the market, announcing partnerships just for the sake of their announcement, paying the partners to be your partners, so you can have this announcement and to pump the market and to benefit from that. It's unfair practice.
Yeah.
So this is why I don't like XRP. On the other hand, what I believe is that at certain point, these guys won't go to jail. They have surrounded themselves with the best lawyers. They are probably getting a settlement, and they are probably going to try to develop further the project. They won't stop it. They will develop it further in a more fair way, which would be dictated by this settlement. And for me, I personally have a position which is favorable to XRP exactly for that reason, because I believe that the FUD will be over when the case is over, and then the XRP will explode, because
That's
it's one of the old tokens.
As soon as we have clarity, and as soon as we break resistance.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm looking at. But it may or may not happen. So
yeah, it's a gamble. It's a gamble, total gamble.
Right. So let me see if we have any more questions. Oh my God, I'm gonna make Alex put like this part of the video in a separate video. Lawyer buys XRP. All right. I have some questions that I have from Twitter and I have from YouTube. So, I write my own songs, asks. I guess he writes his own songs. Do crypto YouTubers risk getting sued for celebrating coins or projects?
Yeah, they do. Depending on how they're structuring their content, and depending if they have these, disclaimers. The so-called disclaimers are so important. I myself, I'm also participating in a blockchain related channel. But the thing is, always at the beginning of the video, you need to warn the viewer
Yeah.
that you're not a financial advisor, not providing financial advice, that everything is for entertainment and educational purposes. And therefore, the end user cannot establish reliance on what you're saying.
Mm.
And if it is for fun, it is for fun, and it should be clear. Although you're expressing strong opinions, it's your personal opinion, and you should say to the other person that they cannot rely just
Yeah.
on your words. They need to make their own research and analysis and to get advice from professionals. So I believe this would mitigate these risks to a maximum extent possible.
So the second part of that question is the not financial advice disclaimer valid or just sort of an urban myth? You know how YouTubers, whenever we talk about products, like not financial advice, but it's financial
Yeah.
advice.
It is not an advice. If you just break the nexus between you and the viewer in saying this is my personal opinion, I'm sharing with you my own research on this topic and my opinion, but you are not my client.
Yeah.
You are not somebody that should be following just what I'm saying. Go on and do your research. It's not a myth. It's an important disclaimer, and it should be working in court.
And would writing this on in the description qualify?
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, it would only enforce this because it's about when you're making a case, you're assessing all the facts about
Yeah.
it. And in general, you should be assessing the everything that every person involved does. And if you have done enough, like in the XRP case, all of these facts that I shared with you were assessed in terms of thinking about pursuing this case. And if it was different, if it was more fair, like in the case of Ethereum, they also had a case against the Ethereum Foundation. And the sufficient decentralization, the community mitigated the risk of Ethereum being qualified as, actually they qualified it as a security, but they said it was a security when it was offered on the ICO stage. And now it's not security because of sufficient decentralization. And it's the same with every case. If you have done all you could, to mitigate the risk for somebody to be following your advice, therefore everything that you can do additionally would be counted.
Got you. Okay. Positive Life asks, will tax laws change to be more favorable?
More favorable, I don't know. It's subject to every state's policy, to be honest. Right now, what I believe is that the wise states are embodying laws which are more favorable to crypto and providing clarity to crypto. So right now, we are fighting to have clarity. We are not even fighting for a better treatment. In general, financial instruments have better tax treatment in all countries, financial instruments. Right. So we are waiting for clarity to know how to account, because in many cases we are accounting the crypto as we think it should be, based on previous experience with similar financial contracts and bonds and this kind of stuff, but in general we don't have clear. You should be accounting your crypto in this and this and this way. So we're fighting first for this, then we can move forward to fighting for better tax treatment.
Okay. What happens if same guy asks the second part of the question? What happens if you lose your crypto in a boating accident.
In what accident?
So what happens if you lose your crypto in a boating accident? In other words, somebody comes to get tax, I guess, from crypto, and he loses his ledger in the ocean. Does he still have to pay tax for it? Or if they find out he has crypto and it falls off the boat? I think it's trying to be humorous, but
Yeah, I
is there any
understand. I understand. Yeah. It is. I haven't heard of such case. We have to be thinking about it because obviously, in general, you cannot be taxed on something which is destroyed.
exactly?
So let's say you have a house and the house has gone because of earthquake. You cannot be taxed on this house because the object which is subject to taxation is gone.
Right.
So the logical answer would be that in this case, you shouldn't be taxed. But the thing is, if it appears that you have jumped after it and you have accidentally found it and have transferred to this crypto to some other accounts, and then later on it comes out, you are in trouble.
Yeah. What if it's washed ashore in a different country from the waves? Hey, it happens. All right, let's I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of questions like that, actually. All right,
No, it's fun.
okay, I see if you can. Okay, Hex the Next Bitcoin asks, can you explain the wash sale more clearly? I don't understand the question either.
I don't know. I've heard the term, but
I think he's talking about wash trading, and I don't think it's. All right, a lot of how to pay little or no tax. Nokli asks, how to pay little or no taxes.
Yeah, go to a country where crypto is not
Portugal?
taxed.
It's Portugal, right?
So no, that's so like in Ecuador, people go to Ecuador because of it.
Okay.
Yeah, miners go there. Probably Thailand as well. You know, crypto gave us the liberty to go everywhere in the world and to be trading from everywhere and to be living the great life. You know, and if you're in a country that is not that strict on taxation and they're not that keen, you can establish yourself there as a tax resident. And if you're a tax resident there and your activities, it is the main place of your business activities, then you're taxable there. And this is what you need to establish if you want to be paying less taxes.
Even if you live there, or do you have to move there? Do you have to move there, or can you live in the country?
It depends on the country. So let's say in Bulgaria, you have to be like 1/3 of the time there. It depends on the country. To be established as a tax resident, they have different, different requirements.
Okay.
Estonia is also interesting because there you don't pay taxes unless you're taking dividends from the company. But if you make, direct, everything can be expense on your company, like rent, car, and this kind of stuff. You can be paying with the company without taking the dividend, without being taxed.
And I think you don't even have to live there because you have like this
residency. You don't.
That's insane.
You don't. You have e-residency, yes.
That's insane, actually. I don't. So let me see if I have any more questions, and if not, then I can ask. Oh, I do have questions. Wait. I don't have. Alex, if you have any more questions, please pass them through the WhatsApp. So, what are some common questions you get as a lawyer in crypto? What are some common questions you get all the time?
Common question. Well, basically the tax questions are most common nowadays. Otherwise, what we do usually for our clients is drafting contracts, for the purchase of the crypto,
Mm,
because people do want to be accountable and to have, you know, do I have protections? Mostly common question: do I have protection on my crypto when I'm dealing with third parties? How can I protect myself?
right.
This is probably the most common question that I've heard.
Mm. Okay. And you answered how you do that before. What's the best question you ever heard, or questions?
The best question,
Yeah.
legal question regarding crypto.
Yes.
I'll define best question
Well,
actually
you define it.
because
What's the best question you
okay.
ever heard?
The best question, the funniest question
The
that
funniest.
I've heard how is it regulated in India? you know, that was the best question, because we were discussing a project which was going on in Europe,
Right.
and they had, but how is the same thing regulated in India? It's important question, because people don't understand that regulation is different in different countries. It's
Yeah.
not one unified system, and this is why when you're starting a project in crypto, you should be assessing whether you have the proper regulatory framework where you are. And another great question that I've heard is also, can I put real estate in crypto? And obviously, again, the same answer. Please provide me with the project, and let's see if there is any country that would fit your necessities. And recently, Switzerland became one of the countries that is suitable for this kind of tokens that are property based.
Oh wow. Okay.
Many people are asking for property-based tokens because they want to put the real world on blockchain. They want to have the mobility which is associated with blockchain to be applicable also to the real world assets, which are also, they have their intrinsic value, and they want to transition this to the blockchain and to be able to, be more liquid by transferring this value between themselves.
Got you. Got you. All right. So let's say I'm selling land. Is there a way to actually sell land? Not sell land. Is there a way to accept cryptocurrency for plots of land if you're selling land as a company? Is that a question I can ask?
Yeah, of course. Yes, there is way. There are probably two ways. Again, depending on your tax authority, but in general, you can accept payment in any form or shape which is acceptable for a legal entity in your company to do, because it's a type of consideration. So, for example, you can simply exchange one land for another, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you be able to exchange one asset for a different type of asset, which is not money? Of course, there should be some, probably there should be some monetary value that needs to be put on the notary deed, which is for transferring the ownership over the land. And in traditional countries, they cannot put price 2 Bitcoins, but they will put the price in the dollar equivalent, right?
Right, got you.
In the deed, because based on this price, they are calculating how to tax this transaction.
So let me ask.
So you can also, the second option is just to go through an exchange. And for the exchange accepts the payment on your behalf, and then they are transferring this payment but converted to money to you, to your bank account. So you're basically accepting Bitcoin.
But can I tie something to a cryptocurrency? Let me give you an example. Let's say there's a company that sells land, that has land with investments for trees or something like that, right? Can they make a cryptocurrency create a cryptocurrency that's tied to that land. So, for example, even like timeshare, if you will, you know, where you split
I
something up.
know.
Right.
I know we've been working on such project. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is it possible?
Yeah, it is possible, especially with the one that I mentioned, the Swiss law. And the
Nice.
Swiss law now with the changes. So what was the problem before the law was enacted? The problem was that in general, you can have this token. Yes, you can create it. You can furnish the token with a certain set of rights and obligations, correct? But you cannot legally transfer this token on the blockchain directly to a third party.
Yeah.
And right now, what they created is, with the law, the necessary infrastructure for transfer of title, and also the recognition for the transfer of title over the blockchain, which is tremendous. This is a game changer, because you could be creating these tokens before, but if you cannot legally transfer them to somebody, they're useless.
Got you. But okay, let me see if we have any more questions from the chat. And by the way, if you're watching this, please like the video, give that video a thumbs up. And if you like these kind of videos, these kind of interviews, please consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one. Can people pay the lawyer with Bitcoin?
Yeah, absolutely. We accept Bitcoin.
Pay anyone with Bitcoin, I think. All right, FaZe. Maybe I think someone wants to hire you. Randall Patterson says, if you buy a coin and after a few months you sell it and buy another coin, will you have to pay taxes?
I don't think so, because what you are taxed on is your gains in money, right? On the monetary value of this. And in general, for many tax authorities, the approach is for you to be taxable when you have clear gains. If your gain is not clear, because the new token that you are bought can be can become quickly way cheaper than what you have gained in terms of money value, and the money value is what is considered by the authorities in terms of taxation.
So if you buy and you just trade into stable coins and other cryptocurrencies, then you're not subject to tax at that time?
Yeah, in general, yes.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of ways to work around it then for people that are asking.
There is a lot of ways, yes. There is a lot of ways. It's not general. Again, the regulation is different in every country. So we cannot give definitive answers to that, if you're not in the specifics of the case.
Right. So let me ask you another question. What's one question you wish people asked you but they never do?
The one question that I wish people to ask me now, as a lawyer.
As a lawyer, in crypto.
I don't have a favorite question that I want to be asked. Okay. What I want is to be asked before trouble happens. That's what I want. I want for people to learn that they go to the lawyer right at the beginning and not after they're in trouble. That's the question that I want to be asked. The question that is asked on time.
So everybody watching this live stream, at least now you know. Go before you get in trouble.
Yeah, when you start, there was, on a side note, a really interesting project that came to me, and they were already having troubles with the co-founders. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, guys, how can you start a project? How can you have more people involved in it? They are contributing to it. To have arrangements between yourselves and not imagine that something can go wrong at a certain point. and you don't have anything tangible, to reflect your arrangements and to protect yourselves. I cannot imagine doing business like that, and you shouldn't be doing anything, especially in a not regulated field like cryptocurrency. Or if you ask later, imagine the repo guys, they have asked their lawyers about that, and they have warned them for the possibility for their token to be qualified as a security if they follow certain way of a behavior, and they have followed precisely this way of behavior that the lawyers told them not to. So,
well, $4 billion, I'm sure they're going to get away with stuff.
Yeah, yes, they will pay huge fines, but yeah, they will get away.
Here's a good question for you. What's going on with Tether? Because I heard that they got a fine of $18.5 million, and they're not allowed to conduct business in New York. They have to leave New York. But is this a bullish or is this bearish? Because this could be taken later on to what? The SEC maybe become something bigger. They found some stuff. Do you have an opinion on it?
Yes, for me it is both bullish, and you can also think that. So what's important for me at this point, and I'd be watching in the upcoming months if new investigations are started by different authorities, as you mentioned. But if they don't start, and there wasn't such a big scandal for me with this investigation, if they have found out something which is very scandalous, very outrageous, they would have communicated this.
Yeah.
And they haven't. So, and so for me, and also you don't need to have one investigation ended for another to start. So if they find something outrageous, probably this regulator, this was the Attorney General in this case for the New York State, they have the obligation, to notify the other authorities so they can get involved in the right away. They shouldn't be finishing. So for me, I'm more bullish on that. I'm more bullish because for me they haven't found something which is that outrageous.
What about all the papers they need to bring up? They said that they may not have had them or something like that, or they didn't conduct business in a certain way that they were supposed to. There's all things they can get out of, or is that what the fine was?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not such a big violation for me. When I read the story, the hugest problem was that they didn't communicate the loss of money. Because they were, the institutions, the one institution, I cannot remember what was that, crypto something. They were using financial institution, a payment institution that got their accounts frozen because this payment institution was associated with drug cartels and this kind of stuff. But and it is probably because Bittrex and Tether are also high risk clients, right? So this institution was probably not estranged from high risk clients, and these high risk clients appear to be too risky, so their account got frozen and they lost or are fighting to recover somewhere around $850 million, right? So they didn't disclose this, and they tried to cover it. So Bittrex tried to cover it while taking. Sorry?
Bittrex or
no, it's Bittrex.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Bittrex. Yeah, so they're trying to cover this while taking loan from Tether. And at this point, because the loan was so huge, Tether didn't disclose this loan to the public. And at this point, the Tether wasn't covered one-to-one with dollars.
Mm.
Because they say, yes, we have assets to cover the Tether, but these assets weren't dollars. They were considering this loan as this receivable as an asset. And that wasn't disclosed to the public. And this is what got the Attorney General mad in general.
Got you. So, but, so do you think it's a done deal? It's the case is over, or do we have 90 days to find out?
So what it says is that it is Bittrex has repaid all the debt.
Okay.
And obviously, with the growth of Bitcoin, it wasn't that hard for them to repay this because they were more in crypto. And right now, crypto has a great advantage over, traditional money. So it was easy for them. They repaid the debt. And for me, right now, things are calm. For me, if they have to, because right now they have to report, every month to the Attorney General. This means that everything is transparent. They cannot be hiding things from the Attorney General.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm more bullish on this.
So any warnings about any projects to anybody watching right now that may be popular or something like that?
Guys, look at the NFTs. Look at the NFTs and the projects which are building on the NFT space. For me, this is the next culture which is forming. And also, if I want a warning, if I want to warn something, is about decentralized finance. It is not an accident that many teams behind decentralized exchanges are anonymous.
Yeah.
It is not by accident, because mostly these activities are regulated. And I heard, what was that?
Especially the exchanges, right?
I think it was a super token, which was related to NFT platform, where they are managing. It's very promising project, by the way, but they're managing a portfolio of NFTs, collectibles, and they're tokenizing this portfolio. So, you are getting in something that is very, very likely to be qualified as a financial contract.
Right.
Because the financial contract is based on the Howey test. And the Howey test says that if you have investment of money, which is investment of crypto, and then you have a common enterprise, which is obviously one collection, which is common enterprise where everybody's putting their money into. And if you are expecting profit, which you are, of the appreciation of the NFTs, and then if this profit derives solely from the efforts of others, and which is obviously from the management of this portfolio, wow, what do you think? Is it kind of a security?
Kind of.
So for me, guys, for all your viewers, it's very important to note that many of the projects are probably will be subject to scrutiny from this standpoint. And really consider if these projects are striving to have more decentralization, like real decentralization of their token, or you are dealing with centralized entity which may be subject to attacks from the authorities.
So you're bullish on NFTs, but you're warning against DeFi.
No, I'm warning about any scheme which falls under this qualification of financial contract that we just discussed.
So bad players in the industry, not all the industry.
Yeah. No, not on all the industry at all. Yes, because it really needs to be decentralized. If it is truly decentralized, then you have, and this is the next step that surprised the authorities, because the authorities just got in crypto, just got some draft regulations for the ICOs, because they understood ICOs, and then there comes the decentralized exchange. And they are now trying to figure out how they would be regulating this, if it is possible, or would they ban it at all. Like you should be watching out for what regulators will be doing, because they cannot buy the code, but they can ban the people that are connected to the code. At certain point, your money has to come out of the system, and if it is trackable to such exchange, you'll be prevented from using it.
Right.
It is simple as that.
Got you. All right, man. Is there anything else you would like to share with us? Where can people find you if they need to find you?
Yeah, if they need to find me, they can obviously find me on the social media, George Suse, on Facebook. They can find me in LinkedIn as well, George Suse. They can find me on the webpage of Evido, of the Evido project. They can also contact me through there. I'm always very, very keen. I'm not just a lawyer, as you might have noticed. I'm also into investing in crypto, and I love this game. I just want to warn the people to be smart when they're playing it, because if you're not smart, you can get hit very, very badly.
One last question: Did you buy Dogecoin? Someone's just asked.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, I didn't.
Lawyer.
No. Dogecoin is great. Dogecoin is actually
great. It's a meme
great.
coin that can go up. I know, but
no. I mean, Elon Musk is not dumbass. He's not dumb. He knows what to push. It is Bitcoin and Dogecoin. They are fairly launched tokens. They're not tokens issued through ICOs. They cannot be qualified as securities, because they're just, subjects which are based on the blockchain. They're not related to the development of any project. So Dogecoin from this standpoint is good. What I don't like is, the culture forming behind it.
Yeah.
And the groups, the people are forming groups to,
pump
the coin.
That's bad.
And
that's bad.
Tweets are moving the market, and I am very much against that. I'm very much against tweets moving the market. We should be having, natural exchange of value and store of value. And this is what we should be looking at. We shouldn't be looking at manipulative practices for pumping one coin or another.